Okay. Good morning, or good evening, or whatever it is when where you are, and if you're watching on replay, hello. Yeah, what an introduction to the live stream. Um, it is morning here in Norway, and it looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. I'm going to get straight to the point now, and I will say hello to all the good people in the chat after my introduction. I think people are becoming more and more hostile. And by the way, if you're hearing some strange sounds, that's my one of the dogs here, just over there. I think people are becoming more and more hostile, and I will tell you why I'm saying that. I think I can spot it in the comments section to my videos. Now, I don't read every comment. On my main channel, it would be impossible to do that. But I think I can see a trend, and I would say it's been getting a lot worse during the last year. And what I'm seeing is this one thing in particular. People are writing in the comments that me, as the YouTube creator, I have no right to have an opinion. I have no right or I have no knowledge about whatever because of what I am. You see what I'm saying here? People are writing that I don't know and I shouldn't have an opinion because of what I am. So what am I? Well, I'm a middle-aged Norwegian man, straight white male, as they say. It's the worst of the worst and all that, and I'm seeing a lot of that now. You have no right. Actually, what these people think is that straight white males, especially, they have no right of having an opinion on anything. What we're supposed to do is to work until we die, pay taxes, and not complain. That's what I'm seeing. So I have no right to have any opinion about anything that concerns women, younger people, well, basically nothing. I have no right to have an opinion about anything. That's what I'm seeing. And I'm seeing this, you know, it's incredible how these people, okay, I'm trying to, I'm this annoys me, to be honest with you. It really does, because I pay a lot of taxes. That's a different topic, by the way, but it annoys me. So the hostility and the level of rudeness these people are displaying is off the scale. These people would never dare saying anything like this to my face, and I think we all know what this is like. Okay, so now this is not about me. This is an example. I'm just using this as an example just to show you guys why I think that people have become more and more hostile and also more and more entitled. We are talking about the effects of what's the term now of what's the term? Yeah, there's a term for it. Identity politics. This is the effect of identity politics. I think it took a while before it got hold of people like properly, but now it has, and now we're seeing the effects of that. And by the way, do I care about rude comments? No, I really don't. I've been doing this for a few years now, and I don't think anything would bother me anymore. Um, but I do try to read comments, and this is what I'm seeing. Now, most of the comments, like 90% of the comments to my videos, are very positive and supportive and all that. And I want to thank you guys for that. But I do see a trend among the haters and all that. I I think, and it's actually quite a new thing, this idea that because of what you are, you don't have the right to have an opinion about this and that. And, because it used to be like, well, everyone has a right to an opinion, right? You know. So um, now let's see here. I'll try to respond to the comments as we go, because we are blessed in this community with lots of great and intelligent people. So I will be reading some of the comments. I can't read all the comments, but I'll do my best. Now there was one more thing I was going to say. No, let's get straight to the comments here. Now, okay. Now let's see here. Yeah, well, Greta Thunberg. Tone, how dare you, says James. I hope I pronounced your name correctly there. Um, yeah. Um, yeah, it's this entitlement that, it's I think that as well is, at least if we look back, a couple of generations, it's a fairly new thing, that because of what you are, you're entitled to this and that. Um, I don't like that idea. And Rensune is saying that most adults act like children. Yeah, they do. Well, and it's a very immature behavior we're talking about here. Um, and the destroyer says, I just call it racism and sexism against white men. Yeah. Uh, Now, let's see here. Knight Percival says the media and the politicians have been dehumanizing and dumbing down the population for years, especially the past several years, because you know why. Yeah. Um, Now, I think that, and I've said this before, being educated should be a lifestyle. What do I mean by that? I'm not necessarily going to university, well, which is good. Yeah, I know I'll get some comments about that, but I'll clarify. Educating yourself means reading books, means traveling, it means challenging your own ideas. It's something that we need to do throughout our lives, and if we don't do that, I believe we become immature, or we never mature as human beings. We need to grow as human beings, and we need to seek knowledge. Now, this is a very Viking thing, okay? And I think maybe the most important idea in the Norse, let's just call it Viking philosophy, uh, is the quest for knowledge. Odin is, well, he's on the bookshelf there. Oops, let's see. No, like this. No, yeah, he's up there. um, his thirst for knowledge was, main thing in his character, in who he is, and all that. So um, it's difficult to explain, but we should seek knowledge. It is very important. And what I'm seeing is that people don't really do that, do they? They use Google. They don't even say, I will use the internet to search for something. They just say, I'll Google it. Well, you should never Google it. If you use Google, it's not a neutral search platform. You guys know this. You guys know this. It will feed you stuff that is suited to you the way Google sees it. Also, it will be censored and filtered. Um, and that's not good, you know. So, uh, Sutunard says, I absolutely agree on that point. The seeking of knowledge and wisdom is among the most important long term pursuits of life. Yes. And on all sides, both sides, all sides, I'm seeing a lack of that. And I'm seeing a dumbing down of these big portions of the population. So you have the woke mob. I mean, they're just dumb, you know. The things they're saying is telling me that they can't really apply logic to their thinking at all. And you have, of course, the people who believe in all kinds of conspiracy theories without that doesn't even have any evidence at all. And no, I don't think that there's this popular saying that the difference between facts and a conspiracy theory is about 6 months. Not really, not really. So there's this conspiracy theory that the world leaders are reptiles, or species of reptile or something. Yeah, so we will not. I hope. I, I hope we won't have any evidence for that in 6 months. Well, it would be kind of fun, but you know what I'm trying to say here. And yes, I know what that saying means. Difference is about 6 months because of the big C thing and all that. Yeah. So you were called a conspiracy theorist, and then for saying things that you could read out of research papers, uh, they were calling the proper scientists. The proper scientists. Yes, we should follow the science. The proper science, not the paid for pseudoscience, not the Fauci science. We should follow the proper science. Okay. Um, and then 6 months later, um, those so-called conspiracy theories are being presented by mainstream media, or not, Maybe, maybe not. But okay, I'm getting off track here. Um, let's see here. Um, yeah. Now, I I don't know about reptilians, but they are definitely not humans. Well, I think it's a matter of how you define that. Um, Hi there, Jen and Ratatosk. Good to see you. So, did little Klaus say that it's going to be an angrier world, American Misfit? Well, it already is, and the way the Klaus and his little friends are, they have this way of saying how this is going to happen, but they don't really say that they want this to happen, do they? You know, they're just saying that, well, this is what is going to happen. Like there's some f- effing science fiction novelists sitting there, but they're not. I don't think they have any artistic ability at all. But by the way, but you know, um, it's a funny way of saying that this is what we want to happen. This is what we will try to make happen, because that's what they're really saying. Um, now, now let's see here. Um, well, Off-White Toddy says the problem is Europeans are inherently empathetic. If it was up to them, they wouldn't stop, and Europeans uh, need to never forget that and keep. Yeah, okay. You know what? I think that the European peoples have shown up through history that they have a capacity of being cruel that is second to no one. I mean, my ancestors were certainly cruel, um, and yeah, but I get your point. We have become very empathetic because in our culture that's a quality. It's seen as a quality. But if you go to mm, certain cultures in the Middle East, for instance, being empathetic is not seen as a quality. So okay, now let's see. I'm just scrolling up a little bit. Yeah. Now, good point, Lee R. Good point. I think that apart from what we have already discussed, there are things in our environment that irritates our physiology. Now, I'll just say a word. Well, it's not a word, it's just a number, 5 and a letter G. And I would suggest that everyone look into that. And it amazes me that these people have been allowed to roll out the 5G, because the research done on that is so clear. It's not healthy, it's not safe. And if I get demonetized and shadow banned again and get the video taken down, I honestly don't care anymore. Seto is saying, stop crying, bro. We have to move forward and be strong. We won't comply, and that's all. Okay. You're being a little troll there. Did you see me cry? No? Okay. So, this is what I'm talking about. Nobody's crying here, and I'm not your bro. So grow up and try again. Avik says from India. Well, hello from Norway to India. Um, it's utter chaotic over here. Devastatingly traumatic. I'm 41, male, can hardly breathe. Avik, can you explain what's going on? Is it just a general thing, or Yeah, well, that's the thing with 5G, it's not set on one frequency, is it? They can tune it, which is the big difference. Um, so let's see here. I'll try to keep an eye on Avik if you will care to explain. Yeah. So, okay, so here's the thing, you have that, which I already mentioned. Please look into that. Not Don't use Google. Don't use Google on that, Um, go and find the proper research papers on that. It's very clear. And personally, I think that some money has changed hands to implement this, and a lot of money too. 5G is not being implemented so that you have a faster internet. It's fast enough already. That's not big. That's not the reason. It's to implement a complete system of surveillance and control. Please, I think we all understand that. Um, and also, the food that we're eating now, not me. Well, I guess I don't eat 100% clean food. I should. I really should. I should just pay for that, and because that kind of food is expensive. I should just do that, I guess. But you know, in daily life, it can get difficult. But the food that most people most people are eating, excuse my Norwenglish here, and my grammar, but it's ultra processed, very unhealthy food. Now they're going to move us over to plant-based foods. Now, what that means is not, and you see, whenever and you'll have to forgive me, guys, because when I get an idea, I'll just talk about it. Okay, so, and I'm quite passionate about this actually. Now, you see the World Economic Forum and World Health Organizations and all that crap, they are talking about, oh, we need to move to plant-based food. Now that's nice. That's cute, and they have a little picture there of a carrot and some salad. Now, if you eat the food that they show you in the pictures, you're going to starve to death very soon. And of course, we're not talking about eating clean food, clean vegan food. We're not talking about that. We're talking about genetically modified, ultra processed, plant-based food, which is devastating to your physiology. It will lead to a lot more sick people, and first and foremost, a lot of depression. But you know what? They have a pill for that. Yeah. And they're going to sell that little pill to you, or many, throughout your life. So, yeah, that's nice. No, we were up, as human beings, we have adapted to eat a multitude of foods, and to get our the most of our calories from meats. That's just, you can't really argue against that. It's evolution has made us into what we are, and that's how our bodies work. You know. Uh, Daidu VTDM says the carrot is symbolic. They want humanity to become a carrot. 12th man AK and Comic Crush. Favorite is on. Well, thank you for that. I do my best here. Um, Now, yes, grow your own food. Grow strawberries, grapes, tomatoes, and loganberries. Plan to grow more. Yes, absolutely. I mean, growing your own food is absolutely something that everyone should do. And I think you can do it even if you live in an apartment. You can grow some herbs in uh, for it's not going to get you the calories, but for flavoring your dinner and things like that. And at least you're doing something, and it's about the mindset. Very few of us can be self sustained with food, but well, for me, it's a goal at least. Now, let's see here. Um, so, okay, Ulrich is asking, is it okay to buy meat from conventional production, or is it animal torture? I will say this: I think it's animal torture, and I have given this a lot of thought. And I'm going to say something now that a lot of people will disagree with, but um, I think that the way we are living now, there are too many of us. No, not talking about depopulating the planet, but we are too centralized in urban areas, and we need to move away from that way of living into or back to more decentralized living with small communities where you would produce your own food, and that would be a lot more kind to animals as well. Um, that's what I think, and I think that hunting, if it's done correctly, is the kindest way to get meat. That's my opinion, because those animals, they live a life in freedom in nature until they die, and that death should be sudden. That's what I think. And I know we can't do that now. We can't do that. But to me, that's why I think that's what we should move towards. So, well, thank you, Jen. Uh, yes, a lot of people are hunting animals who would not get all meat, as them animals would be enough to feed. Yeah, well, yes, I just said that, but we should try to move towards that way of living, or back to that way of living. That's my opinion. Ulrich, yes, I do eat meat from conventional, uh, yeah, animal torture, if you will. Why do I do that? Well, you could call me a hypocrite if you want, because I should hunt, but when I, you know, when I can, I buy. You call it organic. It's expensive as f, but those animals have had a better life. Um, I do what I can. So yeah, hunting should be done respectfully. Well, the hunting I see here, it will start in a few days. It's just horrible what I'm seeing here. Uh, it's bullies, those people, basically. Bullies. They fired a shot after me once and almost shot me another time. Uh, and I always have to tidy up after hunting season. Vodka bottles, beer bottles. It's just a disgrace. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about proper hunting. And I don't even call them hunters. Well, I do, but you know what I mean. They're not proper hunters locally here. Now, Eurasian heathen, organic doesn't always mean organic. We don't say organic in Norway. We have a different uh, name for it, and yeah, it those animals have had a much better life. So, but okay, let's move on. Um, Nick Earl, thanks a lot for the donation. Mm. And you're asking, how do you think these evil people will be defeated and when? Thank you for being a voice of reason in an insane world. Well, I do my best, thank you, and I get a lot of help from you guys as well. We are a community here. And now, the first, well, your question there is, it's very easy to answer actually. We how do we defeat these evil people and when? Start now. Start by refusing to go along. Start by refusing to obey. And this is something that I've said many times in my videos. You must disobey these people. Will it come at a cost? Yes, absolutely. But if we all do that, and someone's got to start, then they will have no power. Because we are many and they are few. And also, they are pushing an agenda that doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. And I think that actually, well, I hope that most people have the capacity for logical thinking. Well, I don't know. Well, many people do at least. So we must refuse to go along with this. Now, let's carefully move into the topic of a new, and I'm going to have to use code words because they're onto me here with the cough, the the big C, you know, and a new pandemic. I'll try not to combine the words so that the algorithm won't pick it up. Um, uh, Jadin, what foods and drinks are essential for humans? Well, I would say water, uh, meats, fats. That's the most essential. So, yeah, okay. Back to topic. Are they going to push this again? Are they going to do lockdowns again? Are they going to do the Big Mac mandates, the little poke in the shoulder thing? Are they going to do that again? I don't know, honestly. Well, it did work perfectly the first time, so why would they not try again? I don't know. And there are people saying that this election that you have, this selection you have coming up in, you see what I did there in the USA. Um, some people say that a certain side of politics there want to have an ongoing thing with the big C while you're voting and all that, because it will favor that one particular part of politics. I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're bringing that back. So if they do, will you go along with the rules and regulations? Let me ask you, will you do that? Will you do this thing here? over here. Will you get the thing here? Big surprise. um, no, 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 no. um, I'll say this. I've had some people here saying that they had to go along with it because there was this one guy who his wife was in hospital with cancer, and he could not visit her unless he got the thing. And in cases like that, I think it's cruel that they forced him, but it's completely understandable. And as I've said many times, this is a choice that you have to make, and I'm certainly not going to make that choice for you. Of course not. And your government should not make that choice for you. But everyone's saying no. And Daniel says emergency. Yes, in that case, that was an emergency, you know. Now, yeah. So I can tell you in my case, I said from the start actually that and that here's what I'm going to do, and here's what I'm not going to do. And it was a kind of a little bit different than what other people said. I said that I will not be tested. Never. I will not be tested. I can wear a mask if I think that it's okay to do it. But I will not wear it because other people tell me to. And I that's how I did it. And this thing in the shoulder, no, no, no way, no way, no way. Now this time, if they try to pull this off again, it's going to be a little bit different. Not very much different, but this time I'm going to say that unless it's like I have to wear this thing to visit family or friends in hospital, things like that, or you know, if something should happen to our dogs and I have to wear this to bring the dog into the veterinarian's office, something like that, then I will wear the thing, the mask. Otherwise, never, never, not going to do that. Because there's this grocery store. I'm pointing this way. It's that way actually. And I have mentioned this before. A lot of people go who have disabilities and illnesses. They go there because there's this home for people with certain conditions nearby, and they were so scared, you know, they were so scared, and they saw me without the mask and they were so scared. And I thought, you know what, okay, so I can wear a mask because of those people. And they have some mental yeah, it's mental what to call it, some mentally challenged a little bit, you know. So yeah, but that's how that's how I went about the whole thing. Um, so, and I think that it was quite cruel what they did with this scaremongering. And for instance, in the UK, it was proved and you know that it was shown that they had actually studied and you know implemented how should they scare people, the population, into obedience. That's those people, those politicians should be in jail. you know. Um, but it was horrible to see how weak people got so scared. They got so scared, you know. But there's a lot that we could say about that, how it affected kids, you know, you know. But this time, no, no, no chance, except hospitals and veterinarian, you know. Um, Now, okay. Yeah, Meh says I've had a cough several times. It's like the mildest flu ever. Yeah, you know what? I don't think I've had it, actually. I wouldn't know, but I don't think I've had it. So I had, since the whole thing started, I've had a cold once, the man flu, you know. Then I thought I had it, but it was just normal flu. It not a flu, a cold. And if I get a cold and I can't go to the gym, I feel so horrible and I feel sorry for myself. And it's funny in a way, but yeah. Okay. Yeah, symbolism, literacy. I'm reading your comments. Yeah, yes. And there are some comments I can't read out here. Yeah. Brad's strung out people said I should go to jail for not getting the thing in the shoulder. I just looked at them like I've already been to jail. Yeah, you know what? I think they were the ones in jail in a way, you know. Um, yeah, the same here. Checky Pavel, only sick one time in 3 years. I'm 57. I'm not 57, but yeah, it's been 4 years now. I've been sick once. Hmm. Jen says she's had it 3 times. Hmm. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that about your neighbor's wife. Um, yeah, well, at this point, I'm not getting any shots at all. I never took any what do you call it, flu shots, but I wouldn't even consider it at this point. Thomas is asking, should we buy cabin in the woods for the next round? Well, if you can, yes. Get out of the cities. I mean, it's. Um, I can tell you this, that I don't live in the city, and but my parents live in Oslo, the capital of Norway. It's not a huge city, but it's a city, and it was, Norway was kind of almost like Sweden. We didn't really have harsh rules here, like you did in the USA, for instance, and the UK. But still, it was. I think they started very early on with the mask mandates on public transport, and I can't remember if they did it here as well after a while, or I don't know. I don't use public transport. I don't believe in public transport. um, so Brad is saying looking to move off grid in the next few months. Well, that's wonderful. If not off grid, off the social grid. Just not those people anymore. I need to be outside. Yeah, I know what you mean. And also, I'll just change topic a little bit. And I'll say this. I don't have a smartphone. And it's very soon now, it will be 3 years that I haven't had a smartphone. And also during those years, I've seen a change. People are spending a lot more time on their smartphones now, and I can't. And this is something you don't really notice until you don't have a smartphone. You think you know, and you think you notice, but when you don't have a smartphone, that's when you can see this. And what I'm seeing is that people now can actually not have a conversation of any length without looking at their smartphone. Why am I mentioning that? I'm mentioning that because, you know what? I don't find conversation with people interesting anymore because I talk to people and then they just look down at the smartphone, and it makes me feel like they're not interested in what I have to say. You know? So this applies to what was it Brad who said now that moving off grid and off the social grid. Um, if you can't if you can't be attentive to me when I'm talking to you, and I I don't think I'm a very boring person. Maybe some would say I am, but I don't think so. And nobody's called me boring before. But so if you can't have a normal conversation because you have that fucking smartphone in your hand, then I'm not interested. And I don't know anyone who don't have a smartphone except me. So actually, I've started to become less interested in in people because people are so addicted to that smartphone, and that makes them so boring and a little bit dumb, I have to say. Not saying that you're dumb because you have a smartphone, but it makes you appear a little bit dumb when you have to look at that smartphone during a conversation. So Instacart Checkers is asking, is the earth flat? No. Let's move on. Do you have a dumb phone recommendation? Well, let's see here. I buy these Nokia. Nokia doesn't say it looks like this. Doesn't have a camera. Look like this. It's any of these that run on the. Is it before 3G? The emergency network, because they're going to keep that up. The 3G will be closed, so get one that is runs on the emergency network thing, you know. Um, no, the Earth is still not flat, but I hear rumors that it's banana shaped. Media man says I can't even speak to my family who I live with without them being on their phone. Yeah, I am sorry to hear that, and I can relate. Okay. Yeah. Now, I think. Um, oh, there. Are we getting the flat earthers here? I'm not going to. Don't come here and insult my intelligence with a flat earth thing, please. Please don't do that. I don't have the patience for that today. I really don't. Please don't. Um, yes, we were having a nice conversation here online, and don't do that. There you have your own channels. You can go and do your thing there. Um, my viewing time of 7. Well, thanks a lot for the donation. And you're saying that the shame that the art of conversation has been lost. Yes, yes. Well, I think people still can do it, but they just so addicted to that smartphone, you know. And by the way, and I will say this, and it stings when people hear this because they know it's true. If everyone threw away that smartphone for good now, all these people that you hate, the WEF, the WHO, your government, all the surveillance thing, everything would be gone today because they're using the smartphone and the information from the smartphone to make these systems of surveillance and control work. It is that simple, but people don't want to hear that. Yeah, it will be gone overnight. And yeah, I shouldn't say this because I'm on YouTube and most people watch my videos on their smartphone. So I shouldn't say that. It hurts me financially when I say that, but there are more important things than money. Well, I think internet can easily be used. You use a VPN and you don't use Google. Well, obviously, I use Google when I upload to YouTube, and YouTube is part of Google and all that, but it's different, you know. Um, Now, Bjorn is going full TED. What's TED? TED. Um, Jen, thank you for saying that. You aren't greedy. Well, I hope I'm not greedy, but I will also say that making money is a good thing. And I will never feel any shame for making money. Making money is good. I like making money, but also there are other things that are more important. Oh yeah, Enrico, you started using the cat dumb phone last year. Waterproof, shock resistance, and no distractions. Yes, I heard about those. Yeah. Mm. Okay. Now let's see here. A TED talk. Yeah, I. Okay. Oh, Chartman, I make money from my hobby. I cook authentic Indian cuisine. The money is a wonderful side effect. I love Indian food, by the way. I'll just have to say that. I really like Indian food. Um, Yeah, and I will say also that using technology is a good thing. I use a lot of technology. I mean, I have a good camera. It's not the newest, but it's Canon EOS R, and I love that camera. And I have other technical devices, and I'm using YouTube to talk to you guys in real time, which is wonderful. But it's what I will say is that when you don't have a so-called smart device with you when you're out in your car or outside of your home, that makes it that makes things very different. Um, and I, I one guy here. He said that he had actually glued his smartphone to his desk or something. I guess that's one way to do it. Jake is asking, you never mentioned friends. Do you have friends? I don't have many friends. I I don't really. I lost the friends I had here locally during COVID because I was going against the official narrative, and people like myself must be, what's the word? I can't think of the word. Well, yeah, they didn't. Yeah, so no, but I do have some good friends that I talk to online actually, ironically. But I use this computer here and I talk to some good people. Ostracized, yes, yes. Shunned, yes, also, absolutely. Does Norway still have human rights? Yeah, interesting. I know what you're thinking about. Okay, I think. Um, so here's a little bit about Norway, and I think I know where that question is coming from, Joe. I No disrespect here, but a lot of people think that Norway is this woke country, and I will say that now, yes, it is, but it was not like that before. What seems to have happened is that the woke stuff seems to come from the USA, and it comes first to the UK, and it took a while before it got here. But I would say that this year, I would say this summer, when they had this Pride month, it just took off. It just went insane. And I see a big difference. This year, much, much worse with all the insanity. And I think it's in the schools now as well. I think it was not like that before. Um, and but now it is apparently. The crazy stuff. Yeah, the crazy stuff. I think it's in the schools now, and I'm very glad that I got my kids through children's school and all that before they started doing that. Uh, so yeah, Norway was never a woke country, but now I think we are almost, yeah, it's just a matter of time before we will be as woke as the USA here. I think that's what it looks like. um and yeah, I was hoping it wouldn't get to that, but Norway has this tendency of copying the USA. We are so influenced by the USA here, so yeah. um no, I know, of course, you're not all woke in the USA, but it seems to come from the USA. Okay, don't get me wrong here. I no, but it comes from the USA, and I know you guys hate it. Yeah. Um, let's see here. Uh, and and I okay, it's moving fast here now. Uh, that's good, you know. And there is one case that I should fact check. I should have fact checked it, but apparently, and you'll have to. So I shouldn't say it, but I'll say it anyway. You'll have to fact check this yourself. Um, there is apparently one guy in Norway who was put in a mental hospital because of his statements online, like statements concerning politics. His lawyer got him out, but that scares me. And I absolutely think that Norwegian officials and politicians and so on, they have the capacity for doing things like that. Um, so yeah, it has gotten really bad here. So do we have human rights? We have some, but we are breaking a lot of the human rights. For instance, we have the draft. The state owns kids for 1 year, and that's against the human rights. Um, and that has a lot of support in the Norwegian population. It's a shame, but anyway, um, yeah. So, um, okay, I'll say one thing here. Oh, this one I should have said before. Um, yeah, you know what? I'll just say this before I forget. All this craziness, like this new wave of feminism, the woke stuff, the 100 gender stuff, and all that, it will be gone in a matter of hours when civilization breaks down. And when that happens, and I'm saying when because eventually it will happen, not probably not tomorrow, probably not next year, but it will happen at some point. And when it happens, what matters is your ability to defend yourself and your family, your ability to provide food, to hunt, and to find shelter and to keep yourself and your loved ones safe. Your ability to form communities, your ability, well, you know what I'm talking about here, and it will be gone in an instant because it's not real. It has nothing to do with the real world, right? Do you think people care about their gender identity when they're on their way to freezing to death, starving to death? No, they don't. Do you think people care about what's politically correct when they don't have food? No, they don't. I'm just saying this because I think it's kind of something that we should think about. So, what does this mean? Well, I think it should mean that you should get some skills concerning those things. And yeah, let me just say also that I'm not blowing my own trumpet here, but Sometimes, especially on my outdoors channel, I'm being asked, well, do you do any fishing, hunting, and trapping, and so on? Well, I follow Norwegian law. That's one thing, but also, yeah. Um, yeah, well, Jordan Peterson, I think he's gone downhill a lot. Uh, Sonia is asking. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm being what's the word? Incoherent here. I'll try. Uh, I'll try to do my best here. Okay. Okay. I'll try to respond now because we have a lot of comments here. Um, well, Jordan Peterson, I don't know what to say really. I'm not a big fan. I'm not. And I don't want to get into that topic because there are so many comments here now that I want to reply to. Um, yeah, what happened at Maui? What happened there? Now, I'm not an expert on how fires work, but I mean, come on. Yeah, the drug epidemic. Well, I I will say this: I don't know what it's like to be addicted to some uh, drug or medicine. I would imagine that's a very strong addiction. But when there isn't any, doesn't matter how strong that addiction is. If you can't get hold of any, then after a while you're not addicted anymore, are you? Or I don't know. Yeah. May says I've been saying this for years. This woke BS can only come from people being too damn comfortable. Uh, Now let's see here. Uh, there is one comment here that I said that I should get back to. Now I can't find it. Yeah, okay, so the gender Olsen is saying their gender identity has become a religion. Yeah, okay, so um, I'm not an expert on that. I to be honest with you, I haven't really looked much into it, so I guess I'm just seeing the tip of the iceberg. Um, but here's what I think is the case: there are some people who want to live as the other gender. So a man, for instance, feels like a woman and he lives his life uh, as a woman. Um, and I think it's not up to me or anyone else to say that he can't do that. Okay. But we're still talking about two genders, right? What and 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 I think there are also medical cases where people are somewhat in between. I think that's very rare. But again, we're not talking about that. That's still within the two genders. That within two genders. What I see is that there are people saying that there are many more genders, and that cannot be true. That just because you feel like something doesn't mean that it's true, right? Me, I feel like I think this is because of my because of weight training and eating a lot of meat. I feel young. I do. I don't feel like I'm 51, but um, I can't really go out in society and say that, you know what, I will be defined as a 20-year-old man now, because I'm not. I'm not. So so that wouldn't be real, would it? It was just be something I feel like. Just because I feel like that doesn't make it real, right? So yeah, not the best example there, but just to illustrate my point there. Um, well, thank you, Daniel. I was fishing for compliments there, as of course, yes. Daniel says, "You don't look 51, brother." Well, thank you. That's the compliment I needed today. No, but seriously, it's like this is one of the things that I have a problem with that, because it confuses people, and people are confused enough already. There are only two genders, and then people are saying that, well, look at other civilizations, look at the Native Americans, they had a third gender and so on. No, they didn't. What you're talking about is people talking to the spirits and things like that, who would appear as someone who could move between the two shapes, like the male and female shape and all that. Still, not a third gender, only two. And so, yeah. Um, yeah, and also, here's one thing that disturbs me a lot. Um, I have read that a lot of young girls are getting testosterone and having their they're desexed, I think is the term. They have their breasts removed surgically, and they then say that now they have changed their gender. And what happened to the idea of accepting yourself the way you are? Because that was kind of a big thing when I was growing up. We're all wonderful. Accept yourself the way you are. We're all different, and that's how it should be. Instead of that, they're now cutting people, cutting things off people. Not good. Um, the doctors doing that should be in jail. So, and I don't. It's quite horrible. Uh, Now let's see here. Yeah, Philip was saying, I think people are more hostile because many realize that they fell for a worldwide, I can't say the word, but a SCAM, and now they are angry at themselves and everyone around them about this. Yeah, people are getting defensive, and they're defending something that they know can't be true. Because you have to be really dumb to think that what was told, what was said by the governments in, let's say, 2020 is true. If you still believe that, and there are lots of people who want to believe that because it's more convenient to convince yourself that those things are still true than admitting that you were lied to and that you fell for that lie. um, Now, yeah, well, Brad's saying I'm looking at the start of Lenin's Gulag system well before Stalin, and there's some disturbing tactics I swear I'm seeing now. Yeah. So maybe hold on to your hats, folks. Yeah. That murderer, Lenin. Yeah. Um, People should look into add Ukraine to that and look into the history there. Lenin, Ukraine, murder, genocide. Some keywords there. Um, there's a reason for everything, you know. Now, concerning this thing they're doing to these young girls, I also read that a lot of them are actually they have autism. So, I mean, and, and can I just say something that is kind of personal? No, it's not personal, but it's. I'll just say it. You know, I the female form, if you will. As a man, I like the female form. I that's it's beautiful to me. You know, it's women are beautiful creatures. Most, many of them, most well. Um, and when you have young girls being cut up and like that, and then they dress like boys, I don't. That's something I don't like seeing. I think it's a horrible thing. Of course, for them, mostly for them, of course. But yeah, and you know what? I'm never, ever going to call them by the other gender. Not going to do that. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. But I'm just telling you that because I did a video that I actually had to take down on my main channel about this actress in the USA who was cut up and stitched together and who now wants to be a he. She's not a he. She's a mutilated she. Still, still a she. And I'm not going to change my language to suit these people's madness. I am never going to do that because language matters. I'm a novelist, so I know how important language is. Not going to play their game, not going to talk like they say that I have to talk. So, and you're not helping them if you do that. You're not helping them. So, um, Carlos Summers, if somebody, that's funny. If somebody wears a kilt, does that make them transgender? Some Scottish people would disagree. Don't go to Scotland, to a Scottish bar, and say that. Um, so, yeah, Heather, are you telling me that you're not helping by participating in technology either? Yeah, I know. I know this is something that people have written a lot in the comment section with various degrees of hatred. You know, did you hear me yesterday, Heather, because I was out in the woods and I told the tree what I think about this. Did you hear me? So, what we're talking about is that we are using technology to get a message that I find helpful across. We're not talking about sitting there consuming mindless rubbish, celebrity rubbish, and things like that. I've never said that technology is a bad thing. I'm saying that we should use technology and we should not always carry around a smartphone, you know? So that should be a very simple concept to grasp. Just try. I'm sure you can do it. Yeah. Um, Now, symbolism literacy says, I think it's justifiable to use it this way while we can. Yes. Um, the internet is changing. Social media platforms are changing because they will be held responsible for the content, I believe. So who knows what's going to happen. Sun through eyelids. Just what advice would you give a 27-year-old man who is trying to be self-employed? Work is so patchy that I have a week off, even a lot. Mild Asperger's and live at home due to this, so lonely. Well, just keep at it. Don't give up. Um, so, okay. Well, Heather, got up with the wrong foot first today, did you? I'll just leave it. Sorry. You can rewatch the whole thing if you want to. It should be very easy to grasp this concept. Um, yeah. What I'm going to do now is to show you a knife. Yes, delayed birthday present that I got. Um, so we're going to leave these topics and I'm going to just show you a knife. It's a Leatherman. I don't use Leathermans out in the woods because but now maybe I will because it's the signal. I'll just show you because it's very nice. It's very nice. I'll hold it up here in the camera. I got it yesterday. Chatman is asking, where do you buy your outerwear from? Well, there's a link in the video description to my gear list, and you will find a list there. Um, what do you think? It's the signal, and it has a ferro rod. Isn't that cool? Yeah. And so, where's the ferro rod? Here is the ferro rod. The ferro rod is on the side there, and you can take it out. This one is the ferro rod. And make fire with your Leatherman. And the knife is very cool. This is the topography version. It has this map-like covering on the blade. Isn't that cool? Yeah. And a sharpener for your little blades on the knife. Yeah. So I just wanted to show you that. Now I'm getting hungry. and I need my bacon breakfast. So I'm going to leave you with that. Oh yeah, now you have knives. Yes. Again, the blades the knives that I can recommend, everything is on the gear list. And you will find a list in the video description. No, you won't. You will not find a list in the video description. You will find a link to my list in the video description, so you can go there, and those are the knives that I use. That you'll find them on the list there. Okay, that's it for now. Almost 1.5 hour. Thanks a lot for joining. I'm sure that this live stream on the replay will be full of commercials. That's just how it is. I can't do anything about that. So have a wonderful day or night, whatever. Okay, we'll talk soon.